In this review of Campaign Evolved, I'm going to be discussing the good points, the bad points, and the points they completely missed. And I'll be giving a review of the entire game, what they did right, and what they did wrong. So, for the first good points, the art style, they did a very good, faithful art style, and they managed to capture how Halo is compared to Halo 4 and 5. Because before, they could not get this right at all. So, the art style, they did a very good job. They did really well on the graphics. The graphics have been pushed as what needs to be. Unreal Engine 5 did a great job. A lot of people didn't like it, but I actually liked Unreal 5 and how it looked and the whole effects, the fuel rod shooting, all the good stuff. So the graphics I actually liked, and the art style I think was really good. And all these points were really like put together well. Machinima mode. So me recorded this right now in machinima mode. Very good touch. It's a small touch, but it's good because I can make videos like this finally, and other people can make videos like this. So machinima mode, very good touch. Campaign remix. Campaign remix is a new mode they added, where you can like play against different enemies, and it keeps the experience fresh, so you can keep playing this game as long as you want. So campaign remix, very good add-on. Needs to be pretty much in every campaign now. I kind of see myself playing campaign remix all the time now. Legendary, easy mode, just running through it, seeing different enemies. So campaign remix, definitely that. Okay. The Flood. The Flood was added, and I haven't played against the Flood in a very long time. And how the Flood reacts, how it moves, is done from Halo 3, all the forms, everything. I thought the Flood was done very well. Like the Flood, the way they did the Flood, and how they move and jump at you, and the noise they make, it really did invoke fear the way it needed to be. So I really like that. Them adding us usable vehicles that we couldn't use before, like the Ghost, and we can hijack Ghosts, and the Wraith, and using vehicles that we just couldn't do before, and hijacking them, and actually enemies can hijack you. I thought that was a very good touch. Like, they needed to add that, and they did. It adds more to the experience. It adds more. It doesn't take away the experience, it adds more. And also, this comes up to weapons. Weapons. I loved the weapons. The weapons were done so well that they added more weapons like the kneeler and the fuel rod and the sword and all these like sentinel beam. I think adding those weapons are really good. It's one of the main good things about this game is the more weapons, and I can use a sword finally in Halo 1. I could never do that before. It just dropped on the floor. Now I can use. Very good touch. And finally, the last good point is more skulls. More skulls. Good stuff. The more skulls, the better. Different skulls can do other stuff. I personally love all the skulls that make it feel like Halo, or I can take off, put on speed limit, and I can put on the 60 rounds if I want to. I can use the third perspective skull if I want to. I can pretty much use all these good skulls and pretty much enjoy the way Halo needs to be enjoyed. And anybody can put on different skulls if they want to. Floor is lava, all that. So the more skulls, the better. They did a really good job on that, and I love how the way they introduced all the skulls, and you can like switch them around. Okay, now moving on to the bad points. So the many points in the campaign. While playing the campaign, there's many moments where I was like, "There's good stuff, but there's also the bad stuff." And one of the bad things is the main bad thing in this campaign is Cortana's lines. The way she says the lines in every scene feels like Halo 5 monotone, no emotion Cortana. In the original Halo 1, Cortana, when she said something, it was, "This is important, you need to listen to me, we're gonna die, we need to get out of here." There was emotion in her voice. Any cutscene, if you take the cutscene from, Assault on the Control Room, the final cutscene is probably the most important cutscene. She says it in like, oh, let's kind of get to the captain, let's find the captain. But in the last one, in the original, she said her lines and she was afraid because she just realized, oh my god, the flood, those Covenant fools, you have to find the captain, we have to go there, we have to, you go. And in this one, she doesn't have that emotion in any scene. She says the lines very monotonely. It completely ruins the campaign. And when she's on the screen, Cortana, it was one of the most important things in the original. Now, when she's on the screen, I just want to skip the cutscene. I don't want to look at the cutscene because it just ruined how she delivered her lines. And I hope there is a feature in the future where we can switch the original lines, because in the original, her lines were so important in urgency. And that is the key word. Urgency was removed from her lines completely. So her lines completely ruined the experience and how the scenes were done by that. Death boundaries. One of the most important things in Halo 1 was exploring the map and kind of looking around, going outside, getting your Warhawk outside the map, trying to go outside the map, and you wouldn't die. There was no invisible boundaries, there was no kill boundaries. And in this game, there are invisible boundaries everywhere. Kill boundaries everywhere. The game does not want you to explore. And this is one of the most important points of Halo, is the exploration. It's the trying to get outside the map, trying to figure out different ways to do it. And I was really afraid of this before the game launched, and they did it. There's kill boundaries everywhere. On the mall, in the first room you enter in the mall, you can't go backwards and fall off the map. If I want to fall off the map. If I want to jump off a certain ledge. But now there's just like invisible wall there. There's an invisible barricade there. And that really put me out of the experience, because I just go somewhere and I just know, oh, there's a kill boundary there. Oh, I can't go there. On the mission Halo, I used to explore everywhere. Try to get outside the map in any way. And try to launch my Warhawk. Try to do some crazy stuff. Now it's just, what's the point? People are like, oh, you have acrophobia. Oh, you have this skull. But I want to explore without the skulls. I want to like fly around without be able to use machinima mode. They actually get into there physically, and that was really important. So they completely abandoned the whole exploration part, which really makes me afraid of what's going to happen in Halo 2, because Halo 2, a lot of it is exploration outside the map, getting outside the map, figuring out how to get outside the map. If they do this for Halo 2 remake, it'll be completely butchered again. So exploration and death boundaries is a severe problem in this game, a severe problem. Okay, moving on to the music. Now, the music is good because it was used from Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and I think even Reach in certain moments. But the problem is the music comes in at the wrong moments, spliced together in the wrong missions. For example, the library. In the library, it's a very serious tone, very trying to kind of figure out where to go. It's supposed to be dark. And then some Halo 2 music comes up in a different tone, like a light tone. And you're thinking, why is there Halo 2 music there? Or why is there like Halo 3 music there? Completely different tones, written for different games and different sections. So they just splice together the music. Now, I'm not complaining that it's Halo 1, 2, and 3 music, ODST, and Reach music, but they try to splice it in and try to kind of, I would say, manipulate, saying this is the music, but it's done in the wrong place at the wrong time. They did some right, but some was done wrong. So that's definitely one of the things, music. As suspected, Sprint broke the game. Sprint was heavily discussed before, and nobody really listened. Everybody said, if you don't want to sprint, just use the skull. If you don't want to sprint, just don't sprint. If you don't want to sprint, just don't press this button. But the mechanic is built into the game as the main way to play, and people always will sprint, and that completely broke all the encounters. Yes, you could put on the skull, and it does fix the majority of the problems if you put on all the skulls and you turn off all the UI, but there is a severe problem with sprint, and it did break all the encounters, all the music cues, everything. I tried sprinting past a couple of missions in certain areas, completely broke the encounters. Yes, you do slow down when you do sprint, but it becomes so easy because you can just run through it. You just run through. So there is a problem. Sprint completely broke this game on so many levels. If you don't want it to break, yes, you do have to use the speed limit skull, and then only then you can have a normal experience the way this game was intended to be played, because this game was designed with no sprint. And when adding something as sprint, broke the game. People said this 1,000 times, but nobody wants to listen. But when you have results like this, it's pretty bad. Also, another point, they removed the ice on this level. Assault on the Control Room. Assault on the Control Room had ice. Now, this isn't like a huge point, but it's a point I kind of realized on my second playthrough. I was like, something's wrong with this level. Where's the ice? I remember there was ice down there. I remember when the Warhog would drive and then it would slide across the ice. Where's the ice? I don't see any ice. There's no ice. One of the most important things on this map was kind of ice. And you could say it's a small problem, but it is a problem. And they removed a very important detail about this map, which is ice. Okay, moving on. Panels. Oh, the Marine's in the shop. Okay. Yeah, he wants to look at the panels. So panels have been severely downgraded to a generic sci-fi panel compared to how it was in the original. Now, I'm not saying they should just copy and paste all the stuff from Halo 1. Yes, they need to do some new stuff, but they picked the most generic panel design. And I did notice this before the game was coming out. I was like, why are the panels looking kind of generic? And they all look like this. Each panel looks like this. And I would say this, it's not my style. I prefer the panels the way they were before. They had this character to it and the sci-fi to it. Now it's just a dot and blue around. It's just an orange dot. There's nothing character defining about it compared to the original panels. Again, this is a small thing, not a big thing, so we're gonna be moving on. I noticed a problem when I'm playing Assault on the Control Room, and when I go into a next section, the doors behind me close automatically. And maybe I'm crazy, but this wasn't a feature in Halo 1. I could go into a different area, explore the different area, come back into the previous area, get some new weapons, get some different gear. If I'm playing on Legendary, I'm out of bullets, I can go into a different area and deal with it. The door closes behind you, and you can't go back. And I remember vividly where you can go into previous sections you've explored without doors closed behind you. I want to go back, but there's a door now closed. The more I progress in the campaign, the more doors behind me get closed. I remember I could travel the whole way through the campaign backwards in Assault on the Control Room. And this problem is a severe issue I see in this engine. Even though it's 25 years later since Halo Combat Evolved. Combat Evolved had where you can actually travel back into previous sections. Maybe not a lot, maybe not all the way through, but you could travel a couple of sections back. Look, I just went through this door, and literally the second I got to the next checkpoint, the previous door closed behind me. Very serious issue. Again, this goes with the exploration point. I can't explore anymore. I want to explore, the door's closed. I can't do anything. I don't know why. I want to explore, but I can't. It's a big problem. One of the things also about this game is they removed small cutscenes. They removed cutscenes that were very important, but they did not include them in this game. For example, the bridge activation scene. When the bridge activates, there's this very serious tone cutscene when you activate, and it's the first time a human activates it, and Master Chief can interact with the bridge, and the bridge comes in, and it's very important moment, like, oh my god, the bridge comes in, and that scene was completely removed. And a lot of people are saying, well, it doesn't matter, it's just a bridge scene. it's more than a bridge scene. It's a very important cutscene which was removed, which signifies a lot in the tone and the mystery of the ring. They removed it, which I completely don't understand why they removed such an important cutscene. It wasn't a lot. They could have shot it quickly, but they chose to cut corners, and I don't know why they made. Again, this leads to the other point: urgency. They are removing scenes which evoke mystery. They're removing scenes which evoke seriousness and tone and urgency, and those are one of the cutscenes. There's another cutscene they removed, and that cutscene was on keys. The jump on keys. When you jump, there was a little cutscene that played. I thought they were going to remaster that beautifully. She falling off the edge or jumping into the pool. They completely removed that cutscene like it didn't matter. He just jumps off a ship. That moment was such a big moment because he falls into the pool, and they completely removed that. There was no urgency, and I was very disappointed about that. You might think, oh, it's just a little scene. He just falls off the ship into the green pool. But guess what? You can't even walk inside the water on keys. You fall into the water, and there's nothing here. I can't go in. I just stand on it. I can't go through the water. They completely missed the point of this moment, is you can go inside the water, and it was this scary moment because the entire map on this mission keys, you can go into the green water and you're submerged and there's enemies and it's overwhelming and it's intense because you're like diving into the water and there's monsters coming at you from the green and you can't see. Now I can just stand on it. And I don't sink, I don't do anything. They just made a ground, and you can't explore, and you can't go under the water. It's a big thing on this mission, because when you're playing through this mission, and you accidentally fall into the water, it feels like you're about to die.
Back aboard the ship.
And it doesn't have that urgency on this mission, because of this small detail they removed, which is a big deal. Now, one of the things I do like about the library is these open platforms. They change the open platforms that they have stuff on them. Like, there's this part in the middle, there's like cover, enemies dropping on you. It's very Halo 2, and I have to say, apart from all the negatives in this game, there are positives which do shine through. Like this empty platform in the original, it felt a little bit too empty. And they did add a little bit of stuff, and I have to commend them when they do need something good, and this is one of those things. The platform on the libraries going down, I actually didn't hate it, okay? I thought it was a good ad, and they did a good job with that. There's a lot of moments in the campaign where they remove rooms. Assault on the Control Room has this a lot, where they kind of cut the repetitive rooms, and their logic is it's too repetitive, it's the same thing over and over again, let's remove it, let's just streamline it, have a simple corridor going straight, and that's it. You cut everything. And they managed to remove a lot of Assault on the Control Room. The mission got surprisingly shorter than it was supposed to be. Now, should all those rooms have stayed? No, but they removed a lot of important sections on Assault on the Control Room, and I thought they were kind of too much cut. They didn't need to cut so much. There were some unique rooms that kind of held the moments together. Like before you go off the lift, there was a room. When you go onto the lift, there was supposed to be another room. Sometimes there'll be too many rooms. That is true. But sometimes they cut too many rooms out. They just decided to cut things over the top. They didn't know when to stop cutting. So one of the main things is, let me just kill this guy. There we go. So one of the main things, the library is a very talking point, especially with the CEA, the anniversary version. It was really bad. So pretty much what they did is this. They decided to change up the rooms. I'm just gonna kill him. Okay. They decided to change up the rooms in the library, and library is a completely different mission now. Like, if you look at the library, it's very good looking. Like, it looks like the library, but it's different completely how it plays. Now, the good things about this new library is that it looks completely different and plays different. Now, a lot of people were complaining about the library in the original, but this actually brings up the point which I just discussed, is the repetition of rooms. A lot of people say, oh no, the repetition of rooms is a bad thing, that the library needs to be different, that missions like Assault on the Control Room, the rooms are too repetitive, that needs to be different. It doesn't need to be always the same, but one of the beauties of Halo is you travel through the map, and then you have to travel backwards half point through the campaign, and it's a completely different experience. Now, the library does a lot of stuff right, but also does a lot of stuff wrong. Now, one of the good things I like about the library is that when you travel, you're actually traveling down, not up the elevators. And I always thought that to be kind of an interesting change, but there's something about traveling up which is more stronger. You got to get to the top, you got to travel up to go down. I thought that was a very interesting idea. Now, is it a big deal that we're going down now instead of up? Because they actually changed the flood, so the flood is actually on the bottom now, and it actually looks really good. Like, if you look around me, the flood actually looks very well designed, and it looks pretty scary, and it's dark and moody. But the problem is, I feel they still didn't capture the idea of the library. The library is supposed to be this kind of maze, dark maze with flood in it. When I look around, it's pretty, it's confusing in some moments, but still it's not the same idea of what... Let me just kill this guy. I don't know where they're coming from. So the idea is, they missed the point on the library again. They did good points with the light in, but still it's not dark enough, and it doesn't have that I'm confused aspect to it, because the library had a very confusing kind of maze quality to it. It had a very maze-like quality, confusing to it, and it made it scary because you're like, I don't know where to go, and it's dark, and the only thing that's lighting up your screen is the monitor. Now, it was too dark. That was the only thing I have to say about the original library. It was too dark. It needed a little bit of light. Just a little bit. I feel they did a good job with the lighting, but still, it's still bright enough where you can see where you're supposed to go. It's supposed to be kind of a horror, scary element to it, where you're using your flashlight, and there's no lights, and it's horror. It's supposed to be these enemies are coming at you, and I feel they missed it on the library. They didn't capture that sense of I'm lost quality. They didn't capture the I don't know where to go, I'm scared, I gotta use my flashlight because it's so dark. I don't really need to use a flashlight on this campaign either. It's pretty bright, and I kind of know where to go. Even the monitor constantly says, oh yeah, follow me this way, but in the original library, it was scary. I didn't know where to go. It was a confusing maze. It's supposed to be confusing, and it's supposed to be repetitive. Not maybe a lot. They could have changed some stuff, and they did on this mission, but still, it was perfect the way it was. The only thing they needed to do was add a little bit of light and maybe change one or two rooms, but they decided to completely overhaul the library. And now the library, it doesn't have that confusing horror element of urgency and I'm scared, I don't know where to go quality. Now it's like, oh, okay, just run down these corridors and I can figure out where to go. So the library is kind of a mixed bag for me. On one hand, I'm kind of happy they changed it, but on the other hand, it's like they kind of changed it and missed the point of the original library. The original library is supposed to be invoking fear and confusion, and you're kind of scared and you have no ammo. So I'm kind of 50-50 divided on the library, but I still prefer the original. So I'm on the final part of the library, and this is one of the moments I was talking about before. They cut out rooms and they removed the cutscenes so they can streamline and water down the experience as much as possible. The whole point of the library is to get to the index, and that was kind of a big deal. I just finished fighting this final room. This is the final room and the final part and the final floor, the bottom floor now. And this was a big deal, and I personally love the flood design. The more we go down, the more flood it gets, and I love that. That was missing in the original, and they did make it better. But the one thing I don't like at all is when I walk towards this door that was supposed to be the final push, the final flood push. and there was rocket flood, and there was enemies. Now they cut that out and they replaced it with a cutscene. The whole point was to get to the platform, and people died getting to the platform. It was a sprint. It was a run. Get it? Ironically, we can't sprint, but we could technically run as fast as we can to the platform. Now they completely removed that. And what is played instead now is this. So I just killed all the enemies. I want to get to the room. And there's nothing here. A cutscene plays. And I feel that is such a slap in the face. They completely made that room trivial. It doesn't matter. It's just a cutscene. Nothing important. The whole point was getting to the platform, was doing it, and they cut it out. And I don't like that at all. Out of all the missions, I think the best mission they did was 343 Guilty Spark. And the worst mission they did is the 2 Betrayals. Because the 2 Betrayals, they completely got everything wrong in the 2 Betrayals. Completely, from the mood to the feeling. There were some good moments with the flood, spores being spread out, and some locations being blocked. But they actually got it wrong on so many levels on 2 Betrayals. And this is one of those moments. During the moment when you have to destroy one of these shields behind me, you have to walk in the original Halo, because your shield will disrupt the shield, and your shield will go down. And it was a very cool sci-fi kind of deal. You have to use your own body, your own shield, to break this shield, and there were enemies around you, so if you did it wrong, you would die because you have no shields. Now what they did is you have to just shoot some kind of light sources and just run away. There was no urgency. Again, urgency was removed and replaced with watered down, shooty targets type of deal, and just walk away. That one of these moments was really important to the original, and they really should have kept it in, but instead they removed this sci-fi smart way of dealing with this, energy source by using your own shields. They just said, you know what, just shoot this, okay, run away, you're done now, move on, you're done. You don't need to use your own body, you don't need to use your own shield. They could have invented a different way of doing this, but this is one of the things I did not like at all, completely. One of the many moments of the 2 Betrayals is how the tone shifts, and I always thought it's the little details throughout the entire campaign which make a big difference. It's not just sprint that just ruins everything. It's not just this that just ruins it. It's the little details. If you put them all together, you get the big problems. And this is one of those problems. Again, a lot of people say, no, there's no big deal. Everything's fine here, but it's a big deal. One of the most important parts is when the flood starts taking over, it just starts destroying everything around us. The doors, the enemies start attacking each other. Everything just starts to become dark and grim and horrible. Now, 2 Betrayals on this game, they did a good job with adding the flood spores and, the whole overgrowth. They did a good job on that. They did good. But one of the things I did not like was this door. In the original, the door blows up in a very dramatic way because you have a Banshee and you want to fly through the area, but the game says, no, something's wrong. The door explodes and it crashes and it screeches. And now they remove that. And what did they do? It just opens halfway. And that's it. It just opens halfway. It doesn't explode. There's just electrical sparks. There's no dramaticness. There's no, oh my god, the flood have been destroying these doors and they're trying to get through. There's none of that. It just feels like some kind of technical issue. It loses its charm. Small detail means a lot, because this is the moment when you have to get out of your Banshee and actually on foot take the fight to them, and it's a journey. It's a journey to get to the other part of the mission. Which, speaking about the other part of the mission, just after completing that last section, they managed to screw up a very big moment in this campaign. Again, might seem like a small thing, but for me, it was a big thing because it completely changes the entire flow of the next sections into a trivial, a 20 seconds run instead of this journey to get to the Banshees. It was this urgency and this journey to get through the warfare of the Flood and the Covenant to get to the Banshees. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, you finally fight your way through the corridors. You're finally fighting the way, and you're finally getting through the door. And what did they do? They added a ghost with an enemy to go through the next part. This one add-on completely changes this mission from, oh my god, this is a very serious trek, it's a journey, to, oh my god, I have to get inside the ghost and just fly across. In the original Halo, you had to feel your way through the environment. Now you can't. Because this whole area now, this whole area is completely ruined. Because I can just get inside a ghost and go through the most important area ever. I had to avoid the enemies. I had to avoid the Flood and the Covenant. I had to fight through them. It was a journey to fight through them. I had to completely avoid enemies upon enemies. And this was a hard part in the campaign, especially on Legendary. So what did they do? They added a ghost, so you don't have to do that. They ruined such an important moment by adding one vehicle. One thing they added, and they completely removed it. So now all I have to do is get inside the ghost, avoid the most important war in the campaign like it's nothing. All I just have to do is this. I can just avoid these enemies like this. That part alone on Legendary to get through was annoying. Oh, I don't need to fight these guys. Oh, I don't need to fight any of this. I can just fly through this. The rocket of Flood, I don't need to worry about them. Oh, this part where it's the most important scene in probably Halo in this mission, I don't need to do this. There we go. Let's just avoid all this. Let's just grab our Banshee. Let's just get out of here and let's just fly away. Completely lost the point of what this mission was and what that section was. Completely lost it. This mission is completely ruined because of small details here and there. Completely changed the tone. When I got the Banshee in the original Halo, it felt like an achievement to get the Banshee. Now it's like, oh yeah, just a Banshee. It's just another vehicle in a video game. No big deal. Let's move on to another section. So this completely ruined the mission for me. One of the many points was this ghost that ruined the mission. The other mission that was very butchered in the uniqueness and the rooms and the flow and the urgency. Again, the urgency was the Maw, the final mission. And I always felt the Maw was the big conclusion of Halo. It was the most intense, urgent, kind of exploding thing. And when you put everything I said together, all the little things, you get an experience that's washed down, very streamlined. And I'm going to show one of the points, which is it's a little point, but once you put it together, it adds a deal. The moment at the end when you have to turn, in the original Halo you had to go left, which was engineering, and on the ground it said like engineering. I think it still does, maybe. Okay, armory. And over here there was a different room, which was the actual armory. And you had to kind of walk straight, and the game was leading you to the left, but if you decided to explore, you could go into the armory, and there was invisible Flood in the armory. So what they did is they actually removed the armory, and they put it here instead. So the armory is not down there, it's here. And there's no invisible Flood. So the game was like, okay, we just, instead of 2 rooms, we're just gonna make 1 room. Unless I'm missing something, but that's the way it was in the original. And when I was really hoping that they were going to add more rooms, expand the rooms, expand the Pillar of Autumn, not short-sighted, not streamline it. And this is one of the things. This exploration detail, they should have added more rooms, more corridors, more places to go, not less, not closed off. not closed off areas, more. The Warhog run itself, I'm gonna say, is very disappointing itself also. One of the most important points is, again, the Maw and this final part. No urgency. If you listen to Cortana's lines, it's like nothing's happening. It's like I'm not feeling what's the importance of her lines and the urgency in the situation.
That's it. The engine's gone critical. Based on the current rate of decay, we should have 15 minutes to get off the ship.
That's not how... This is the most important moment in the game, and it's treated like just, okay, just explode the engines and that's it. It's like nothing is happening of urgency. There's no urgency in the moment, and literally it's like nothing's happening. Watch, I'm gonna go up right here, and I'm gonna show how important. Look, just listen to her lines. She's saying things like, "Oh yes, just another thing. We're about to get this done." So I'm just gonna fly over here. So watch, this is probably the most important moment in the campaign, and the way it's approached ruins the scene completely in this game. Watch, everything from Cortana's lines to the explosions, everything.
Things are getting noisy down there. Everything okay?
Negative. We have a wildcat destabilization of the ship's fusion core. The engines must have sustained more damage than we thought.
I don't know what this is, but this is not Halo.
Alert.
This is not my
Our
mom.
RV point with Foehammer is further towards the ship's bow than our current position. Use a Warthog to reach the extraction
It's
point,
like-
or we'll never make it in time.
Nothing has urgency anymore. Nothing has urgency. The actual run of the Maw, it turned into a racetrack instead of this important mission to get off the ship. Everything about the actual racetrack, the actual run of the Warhog run, was completely ruined. It does not feel like the Warhog run. There was nothing added to it. It feels shorter. It feels, yes, there's a couple of cool moments. And they fixed the whole part where why is there like a long bridge in the middle of the Pillar of Autumn? Why is there like a bridge? So they added like a whole dust area. And like there are cool moments, but it feels so watered down. It's not faithful to what the original Warhog run did. They made it into kind of like a Halo 4 racetrack, a Halo 5 Warhog run. They didn't honor what the Halo 1 Warhog run was. And I felt it when I was playing it. All those little details, when you put them together, it was a very disappointing last mission. It completely missed the ball on what that was. Okay, there is a few more points I want to say. Lasso. One of the main things they were pushing in this game was Lasso. And what did they do? They messed it up by adding multipliers and a glitch and a cheat, and you can just cheese your way into Lasso, and most people have done it this way. It's supposed to be an achievement to get Lasso, and they didn't optimize their game. So not optimized, rushed, cut rooms, cut cutscenes. Some things were good, but most were bad. No matter how much good I try to put in, it's bad. There is no co-op achievements. There is no in under 2 hours finish the campaign achievements. There is no how to look at your friends' leaderboards. There is no I saw my friend with legendary on his name. On MCC you can see if somebody completed the game on co-op, legendary, co-op, normal, which mission on normal, which mission on legendary. That is completely absent in this game. They didn't include any of that. I want to see if my friend completed the campaign on normal. I can't see that. I want to see how long it took him to complete the game on legendary, his time on each mission. None of that included. Completely absent from the game. Very bad, because if this is just a campaign experience, there needs to be serious campaign stuff that shows how long you complete the mission, the speed. So pretty much what MCC did. MCC had all these options, none of which was included in this game. Very, very disappointing on that front. I don't know who completed what on what. There's not enough achievements, and there's not enough co-op stuff, and not enough to show who did what. There are no unlockables in this game. I was afraid of this, and my fears are confirmed. If I want to complete the campaign on Legendary, I get nothing. If I want to complete it on Lasso, I get nothing. If I want to complete it on Lasso Remix or Legendary Remix, I get nothing. No armor, but at least the armor is hidden behind paywalls. At least you have to pre-order to get this armor. This is the only good armor if you pre-order the game, and I pre-ordered the game, so I got this armor. But honestly, this armor should have been available if you complete the game on Lasso. Imagine getting this armor if you complete the game on Lasso. People would actually go for Lasso. People would try. Completely miss the point of unlockables and collectibles, except skulls and terminals. But there's no, whoa, you got all these skulls, you get an armor. No, you just have to buy it. Pre-order, and you get the skin. Completely loses the point of how Halo should have been with the Halo 3 days Get It Recon. That's not how it's supposed to be. And they missed the point on this exactly. For the final points, the game has good stuff in it, but there's a lot of bad things in it. I didn't even mention the overchrome of the buildings, which they should have fixed it, and they didn't. Still, the buildings are too chromy, too shiny, not the monolithicness of the original Halo. They don't want to listen to us. Now, the game does have good stuff to it. I specifically chose this last part to explain my point. And that point is, the game has its beauty. Like this mission alone, this is the mission they were pushing on us because it does look good. The water, the graphics, yes, there are good moments, but there's a lot of things that just isn't Halo. For example, again, I can't leave this area. In the original Halo, I could drive underwater as long as I want to and come back. They decide not to do that. There are moments which are nice, but if I had to give this a game out of 10, how much would I give it? And the result is 5 out of 10. This game is a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 best, 6 out of 10 if you're being very generous, 5 out of 10 if you want to actually say what this game is. It's the fancy graphics. If you take away the fancy graphics and you take away that, what does this game offer more than the original? Campaign remix, skulls, maybe the graphics. Yes, the flood tank form is back. That's really fun and cool. I love that. The art style is pretty good. I love that. Like, there are good things, but there are so many negatives which make this game a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. So if you're on PlayStation 5, so whose game is this for? Let's just say that. This game is for, who is it for? Is it for the classic fans? No. If you're a classic Halo fan, you will notice the issues I talked about and more. There are a lot of issues and you will notice those issues. So if you're a classic Halo fan, do not buy this game. Play MCC. If you're on PC, buy MCC. Play that. That's how Halo was supposed to be. The intensity is there. If you're on PlayStation 5 and you never played Halo before, you never touched Halo 1, should you buy this game? If it's for €45, €50 or less, you can buy this game because this is probably the last Halo they're gonna add for PlayStation. So if you're only on PlayStation and you never played Halo before, yeah, buy it. It's a good Halo game. It's a 5 out of 10 game, but they watered down and removed so many features and moments from the original, which completely changed it from a 10 out of 10 masterpiece to a 5 out of 10. It was pretty good graphics. That's not bad. So if you have Game Pass, play this game. If you have Game Pass, play this game. It's definitely worth to play it on Game Pass, but do not buy this game. It's not worth the purchase. Buy MCC, play Halo 1, play Halo 2, play Halo 3, Reach, ODST. Those were the games with intention and intensity of how they were built. Not this. So I hope this review maybe gets like 20 views, but those were all the points. There's probably more points, but if it's a fun game, but it's not worth a Halo full like remake style. They were supposed to add more to it and improve upon it. They didn't improve upon it. They washed down and took a back seat, and they were afraid to push the boundaries. And it's not Halo 1. It's just Halo 0.5. Extra points I wanted to discuss was when I was editing this video, they came to me. The pistol, the Magnum, is actually heavily ruined because it doesn't deliver the same punch as the original. And in the original, the pistol was like a strong weapon that I can shoot enemies with, and now I never use the pistol. It doesn't deliver the same tone and damage, and the enemies don't flinch. The brutes in the prequel missions do not flinch when you shoot them. With a sniper rifle, with a pistol, anything. I tried shooting them with shotguns. It's like I'm shooting a wall. And I've noticed this issue also with other people. When you shoot the brutes in Halo 2 and 3, they recoil, they flinched. And now when you shoot enemies, they don't flinch. It's like they're lifeless husks. And like when you shoot a brute, nothing. When you shoot, it's like the enemies don't flinch and move and react as the original. And that is heavily an extra point I wanted to talk about. And that's why the pistol isn't as strong as it used to be. And I just kind of throw it away because it just doesn't deliver what the original pistol, the original face of the game does. So it's one of the things I kind of wanted to also make the final point, as the weapons, some weapons just don't deliver that same impact as the original weapons, you know, and the enemies don't flinch and kind of recoil, and when you shoot somebody in the leg, it doesn't do anything. When you shoot them in the head, it doesn't do anything. So it's a very, like, strange difference. It feels like some wall you're shooting. It doesn't have that same effect as the original. If you look at original videos with Halo 1, 2, and 3, and you shoot somebody, they kind of recoil and flinch, but now they don't. And the pistol, the Magnum, the face is kind of ruined, and I don't like the pistol anymore.